Damn, the statue set looks so dope. Are you joking me, bro? These have to be some of my favorite pants in the game. The statue set pants are so beautiful. They look so hard, but they aren't my most favorite. My most favorite is gonna have to be the skin tight, tighty whitey meggings. And look at the thickness. In this video, we're going to cover the Rocky Chad utilizing a statue DPS build. It absolutely kicks ass. We are going to cover the pros and cons, the skills used, the class tree, and the gear. If at any point in time you like this video, you want to hear the sound of my voice again, feel free, click that subscribe button. Would truly appreciate it. I have to start off this video by saying this build absolutely drove me crazy. If I still had hair on the top of my head, I would have ripped it all out by now. I really wanted this build to work. The damage output is absolutely disgusting. It literally will take you above 1 million firepower, completely legit. And this isn't some flash in the pan. Oh, I touched 1 million firepower for a split second. No, you really can cruise at 1.2 million firepower for a very long time, super easily. You can have that buff and that damage output really sustainably. Tremor, golem, baulderdash all make your firepower go up through the roof. You absolutely melt enemies. I think that this might be the highest damage output possible in this game. You can easily out damage the technomancer or the pyromancer or the trickster when they use their round builds. There is a pretty big catch though. There is a major catch, and why I really haven't been able to get my times down. If anything, all of my times are worse than my anomaly power bleed build on the dev. And that is because with no magic rounds, you have no stagger and no interrupts. On the round based builds, you are getting occasional staggers when the status effect takes place. This is absolutely massive. When you have the fire rounds or the toxic rounds, you are getting a free window of opportunity to make enemies stop attacking you. This has been the biggest pain in my ass playing this setup. When you don't have fancy rounds and you don't have earthquake or another interruptible move you can spam on cooldown, enemies just jump on you and you're the Devastator and you do have health, and this setup you're very tanky, you're not going to die right away. The big issue though is that you are perpetually fucking staggered with this setup. It is unholy annoying. It's stagger, 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 reload, cancel, stagger, 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 reload, cancel, and then dead. I only have played this with myself. I've been trying so many different things to get this build to work, and I finally have it dialed in the way I like it, but I must reiterate, there is no chance you are going to be able to use this build by yourself and do challenge tier 15s anywhere near as fast as you would with a round-based build on a different character or a bleed anomaly seismic commander set with the Devastator. If you don't get interrupted while you're holding down the trigger, you delete Broodmothers faster than anything I've ever seen before. Easily hitting for 500k with a submachine gun. I'm using the Fatal Symbiont. The submachine gun, not even a god roll, hitting for 500 plus k, and that's almost 900 rounds per minute. It's just god tier firepower, but you just get canceled. They just stop you from shooting. You get hit, you get hit, you get hit, and you can't shoot. I tried utilizing shield, because when you have an active shield, like on the trickster, you are impossible to interrupt. You cannot be staggered when you have the shield up. It's just way too hard to make it stick on the Devastator. If you have a way to be stagger proof with this setup, I would love to hear it, because I would definitely prefer to use this over the bleed build. It is way too fun and super addicting, holding on the trigger and melting everything. I have put in far more time into the setup, testing and tinkering, than I would like to admit. So hopefully you can utilize this information to maybe either do this same setup and have fun with it, or make it better and let me know what you did to make it work. Let's go over important deets. For the class tree, I found that nothing is as good as going down to the capstone. That 70% weapon damage buff when you use a kinetic skill is just far too helpful. There are some alternatives here if you wanted to stick more in the middle tree and come up through the second branch, the last branch there. You can confirm more health regen and more max health, which is nice for the tankiness, and it'll synergize with our gear as well. The bonus to health regen, give you bonus weapon damage from the slot right there, is super helpful and a good way to subsidize damage output if you don't feel like going to the capstone of the top tree, because you want more tankiness, more resistance, and more armor from the middle tree. As previously mentioned, our skills are going to be baulderdash, golem, and tremor. You could really get rid of baulderdash, not go to the capstone, and run reflective shield, and you just put that mod on where you don't have to actually hold the shield up, you can just fight with it up. That works really well too. You're going to get 40% bonus damage from that as well, instead of the 70% from baulderdash, but it's debatable whether or not that's better. Again, have tried it, and if you can come up with a better result, give it a go. For our gear, obviously we are going to be running the statue set. It's a little messed up here. The text doesn't really read properly. It should say buffs from Tremor and Golem only last for 8 seconds after you use Tremor or Golem to get your 100% bonus weapon damage buff. I have not played with friends while using this Tremor set, so I don't know if the 100% bonus to friendly firepower is actually working, but it absolutely works for you. And whenever you need, just kick in your Tremor or your Golem. Activating Golem also gives you plus 40% weapon damage, so you just got synergies coming out of the ass. Baulderdash gives you plus 70%. If you want to blow your load all at the same time and hit all 3 of your skills one after the other, you are going to hit 1.2 million firepower, and it's absolutely disgusting. Problem when you do that is by not hedging your bets when everything is on cooldown, you are pathetically weak and underpowered. I do need to mention that I'm abusing Perpetuum Mobile. I totally thought they patched that. I cannot believe that still works. All you have to do is you put the mod on, take the mod off, and then you have Perpetuum Mobile until you die or leave the game. It's really convenient. You don't have special rounds, so reloading isn't the end of the world. Weaponry, we're going to be using the Fatal Symbiont for our primary. This is because Dark Sacrifice is the best mod in the game. If you're using a gun build, you literally have to run it. I love the submachine gun. It's really fun to use, and based on our tree, we also have really high critical damage, so we're going to be running Embalmer's Rage because we have over 100% bonus critical damage, which means this is better than running the Killing Spree mod, which is only capping out at plus 75% damage. For our secondary, we do actually want to use this. It's going to be the Voodoo Matchmaker. Ultimate Damage Leak is really helpful, and then obviously Dark Sacrifice on there. This gun you want to use if you're being overrun by mobs. Makes life much more convenient than having to shoot everything individually with your Fatal Symbiont. Okay, now we have gotten to the armor, which is a little bit more complicated, and there are a ton of viable options. Let me list some things that I think could work here instead of what I have been using. You can run the bonus to 25% bleed damage. This is powerful if you want to melee elites or run bleed on your weaponry to get bonus damage. You can also run rejuvenation, which gives you bonus firepower and bonus armor every time you regen health, which is literally all the time. You can also run damage absorber to increase your armor and your resistance. We basically have no armor or resistance, so that's probably a good idea. Sharp Eye, stare down the barrel. There are just a million things, but this is what I landed on. All of these mods here. Baulderdash Primal Chain Gun Tier 3 mod, which is going to give you bonus weapon damage for every enemy hit with Baulderdash. And the most important one I have to say is the cycle. That is just bonus free damage. It's just so free. We have the health regen module. We put the mod on, which gives us bonus health regen when we use Tremor. That number on our boots is going to jump up to about 63% bonus damage when we have Tremor active. It slaps. This is just a setup I found that has the most synergy for damage output. Again, so many spare parts you can use here. I think you understand how this works. The whole point is to really not have a lot of health, not a lot of armor, not a lot of resistance, and just pump out buttloads of damage, a ton of critical damage with our Embalmer's Rage. I really enjoy playing the Devastator. I really enjoy playing this setup. It absolutely melts. I think if you're playing with a team, this will be one of the best setups you can have, where you can easily outdamage technomancers, but you do not have a way to not get staggered. And every single time you get hit, whether it's melee or at range, sure, you're not at imminent risk of dying, but you are stopping your firepower and you are going to lose your DPM, because if you're not holding down the trigger, you're doing absolutely nothing of any importance to anybody on the team. And it happens all the time, especially those little mauler guys on some of my favorite expeditions. Archways, Stargrave, Colosseum has them. Those guys will just sit in the back and just spam you with their little balls that just, they blow their load on you. They like, their little balls explode on your face. It's like sticky and stuff. And those guys will just cancel all of your shoots and all of your loads going back out. Really frustrating. I don't know what it would need to make this build god tier, but it's so close. The damage output is so sick. So maybe if you got like a real Devastator who wants to play a real tank and they don't want to do any damage, you just follow them around as they pull all the aggro, and then you're just unlimited power. That about sums it up for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click a like, click a comment, click a sub. You know how it is, trying to grow the channel. Until next time, we out.
Outrider, there's a storm coming your way.